Welcome everybody to a look at the sixth and final film in the Tales of Adventure collection number 8 box set from Imprint Films, and it is 1971's The Light at the Edge of the World. So this is directed by Kevin Billington, who also did Voices, which was a much lower budget film with David Hemmings. This is an adventure film clocking in at 128 minutes long. Stars the likes of Kirk Douglas, who I've seen in 19 other films now, with the likes of Paths of Glory, Out of the Past, 7 Days in May, Champion, The Fury, and the 1950s 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea being my favourites of his. Also stars Yul Brynner, who was in Westworld and The Magnificent Seven, Samantha Eggar, who was in The Brood, The Collector, and The Molly Maguires, and Fernando Rey, who I've seen in 13 other films, who was in the likes of The French Connection and its sequel, Cold Eyes of Fear, and The Last Days of Pompeii. So, pirates take over a lighthouse on a rocky island. They then execute a devious plan to cause ships to run aground, pillaging their wrecks. A lone member of the lighthouse crew survives and he desperately fights their plot. A shipwrecked maiden that avoids the pirates' slaughter soon complicates the situation. So, this is a far darker, more cynical, and way more violent effort than I thought it might well have been, given no other Jules Verne adaptation that I've seen has been anything of the sort before. That said, despite the violence perhaps going a little bit too far at times, this is nonetheless an engaging effort throughout. Unfortunately, it is also let down somewhat by some predictability and excessive running time and unnecessary sexual violence that is merely glossed over by the characters. Thankfully, the cast is great, the score is on point, the cinematography is excellent, the locales look superb, it is generally well paced, the action scenes are well executed, the violence is impactful, even if it does go a bit too far, it's still quite an impactful element to the film, and the production is solid, especially when it comes to the miniature work. The miniature work is mainly centered around a pair of ships that are sunk, but they are really, really well done. And yeah, I'm a massive fan of miniature work. I think it's something that is quite frankly, a lost art form nowadays. But still, it is a really, really good piece of part of the film, and one that is effective and charming in both equal rights. So yeah, I know a lot of people have cited this film. A lot of people I've seen have given it very lukewarm reviews, but for my money, this is a solid 4 out of 5. And consequently, my favourite of this actual box set, which is a massive surprise to be honest, because I figured going into this that its poster really was trying to insinuate there was more to it than there actually is. There is no sci-fi element, there is no swirling or anything like that. It is a pure adventure film with action and violence to it as well, but it is mostly an adventure film, and yeah, it succeeds at that in spades, quite frankly. So yeah, really, really surprised by how much I enjoyed it, but yeah, I genuinely did. So it's got a 1080p high definition presentation, looks and sounds really good. Got audio commentary by film historians Esward S. Berger and Nathaniel Thompson, incorporating interviews featuring producer Elia Solkind and director Kevin Billington. We've also got a radio spot and a theatrical trailer as well. So, yeah, well worth seeing if you haven't seen this. But obviously, if you have this box set, then you should have probably gotten around to it by now. But yeah, if you have seen it, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. So, as far as this box set goes, it's on the whole fairly good. It's probably not my favourite, although it does gain a lot of points just because it's got two Vincent Price films in it that, yeah, are always going to be, you know, a great benefit to any release that is out there, regardless of what it is. So, yeah, but as a result, though, it's not going to be my favourite of the box sets. But that said, I am going to rate them right now. So, last place will be another Jules Verne film, and that is the original 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Decent enough in terms of its technical efforts, and like I said in my review, the latter half of it is mostly engaging and has some decent characterization, but yeah, it's just not able to really get past its other elements that don't really work, like a lot of the filler that is in it, and the fact it is a silent film, which is always going to be a negative to a film as far as I'm concerned. It's always going to be something that is going to be on the back foot right from the start, being a silent film. Then we get Valley of the Dragons. Yes, it relies on stock footage a lot from other films, like Rodan, for instance. But yeah, it's still a generally engaging effort, and at only an hour 22 minutes, it's hardly going to annoy you too much, given how short it is. And yeah, the cast is good, and there is some production value outside of the stock footage that it is using. But yeah, it's definitely not able to really get that far back, but beyond its limited production value. Then we're going to go in for a tie because even though, like I said, with Master of the World, which has a better Vincent Price character and probably the better Vincent Price performance, it is ultimately let down by its production value not being all that great. Much like with Valley of the Dragons, it relies on stock footage a lot. But unlike that film, where the stock footage is in colour, this is in a film in colour, but its stock footage is not. So it's really rather quite jarring, and it's plainly obvious that it's from completely different kind of films. Whereas with War Gods of the Deep, no, Vincent Price isn't as good as in Master of the World. No, his character isn't as good in Master of the World, but the production is far better. The cinematography is far better as well. It doesn't use any stock footage, and yeah, it's just got an all-round, better action and a better way of getting across its story, which this wasn't able to do because its production just was a lot smaller. So they're going to go side by side with one another. I really can't pick and choose this between the two of them. Then we'll get another Jules Verne film, Rocket to the Moon. I don't actually like it more than War Gods of the Deep or Master of the World, but it is the better film of the three because it's just better produced, better, generally better directed, and overall a more well-produced film. It had a much bigger budget, I believe, at $3 million. So yeah, and you can see that money on the screen and then some. So yeah, and it's a fairly decent comedy as well. But obviously at the top, like I said, Light at the Edge of the World, just yeah, really really entertaining and engaging adventure film. It's probably not the most enjoyable one that you're going to ever see because, like I said, the violence does go quite far at times. You don't explicitly see someone's head get chopped off, for instance, but you do see their headless body on the ship, and there's blood everywhere and such, and that alone is quite violent. And then there is a poor unfortunate animal that gets hurt and killed, and then yeah, the violence towards the other characters is hardly light-hearted either, especially with one guy at the end. So yeah, not exactly a light-hearted effort like a lot of Jules Verne's efforts, but yeah, or should I say adaptations, because obviously he didn't do any films himself. But still, a really rather solid one, and like I said, my favourite of the bunch. So yeah, this box set's overall been fairly good. Like I said, it's probably not my favourite of the lot. I certainly feel like I'm going to enjoy the ninth one a bit more. I do feel like I've seen all but one of those films in that box set, but I have seen three of the other ones, and they are really rather quite solid films overall. So yeah, I think the ninth box set is probably going to trump this one a little bit, but it gets a lot of bonus points for having two Vincent Price films, which just at the end of the day bumps up my collection of his films, which is something I've been aiming to get as many of as possible. And they're on Blu-ray, which isn't easy to come by, if at all, over here in the UK. So yeah, overall a solid box set. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 overall. Not spectacular, but you could do a hell of a lot worse. And yeah, quite frankly, I've enjoyed watching all 6 of the films, even though 2 of them I have seen before. But nonetheless, if you have seen The Light at the End of the World, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Because yeah, it seems to have had a bit of a polarizing reputation over time. And I'd also like to hear your thoughts on the box set overall as well, because yeah, it is a really very interesting box set. I really do like these Tales of Adventure box sets that Imprint have done. Whether or not they're going to do more of them, I don't know, but they are taking up a hell of a lot of space. So yeah, hopefully the 10th one is going to be the final one, and then they move on to something else, because when they are as big as this, I mean, look how thick that is compared to a standard Blu-ray. It's just, yeah, taking up huge amounts of spaces, and that's the real negative with these box sets. But on the whole, I do really enjoy them regardless. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.